In total, there are 5 species of rhinoceros remaining in the world. All 5 of these species are currently listed on the IUCN Red List of threatened species, with 3 out of the 5 classified as critically endangered. Through this documentary, we will investigate if the number of poaching victims varies between protected and non-protected areas. If so, why and how it can be prevented in the future, as well as the success and failures of conservation efforts that have already taken place. The greater one-horned rhino is distinguished by its single black horn, about 8 to 25 inches long, and its colouring of grey-brown hide with thick skin folds creating an armour-plated look over its body. The greater one-horned, being the largest rhino species, weighs up to 6,000 pounds and can grow to 6.5 feet in height. They are found in tropical and subtropical grasslands in northern parts of the Indian subcontinent. This species was close to extinction in the late 19th century to the early 20th century. There were approximately 200 individuals living in the wild at this time. Due to them being killed as agricultural pests, hunting for sport, and most recently due to poaching for their horns, there is now over 3,250 greater one-horned rhinos throughout India and Nepal today, with the aid of strict protection programs in national parks. The Kaziranga National Park in Assam is home to around 85% of the world's greater one-horned rhinos. The Royal Chitwan National Park in Nepal also currently holds around 500 individuals. The rhino's population is currently increasing at a rate of approximately 5% per year. The greater one-horned conservational efforts are considered a success story as the species have moved from endangered and close to extinction to a vulnerable classification. However, the rhino is still under threat with the poaching for their horn and the possible increase in habitat destruction and loss. The Javan rhino has been said to be one of the rarest large mammals in the world. Similar in appearance to the greater one rhino, the Javan rhino is a large, dusky grey rhino with numerous loose skin folds giving the appearance of armour. As few as 35 individual Javan rhinos are known to survive in the wild. This small population is found in the Ujung Kulon National Park in Java, Indonesia. These few remaining survivors represent the last hope for this beautiful species on the verge of extinction. Many years ago, these amazing creatures could be found in northeast India and the Sundarbans, throughout mainland Southeast Asia, and even on the island of Sumatra, though the last surviving Javan rhino outside of Java, found in Vietnam, was poached in 2010. In 1883, the Java region was devastated by a volcanic eruption. The Javan rhinos recolonized after this event, but humans did not return for many years. It was over this period that the Javan rhino population reached its only recorded peak, with close to 70 individuals recorded in 1980, though since the return of humans to Java, the rhino population has again fallen. The Ujung Kulon National Park is now the only safe haven for these critically endangered rhinos, proving that national parks have played a massive role in the conservation of the Javan rhinoceros. Though the Javan rhino is still under threat as a result of encroachment within its habitat, things such as farming, poaching, illegal logging, and non-timber forest production, such as palm oil production, are putting these already endangered animals even more at risk. Possibly the biggest threat to these beautiful creatures is poaching. The Javan rhino horn is highly in demand on the Chinese black market. Used as an ingredient for traditional medicines, this horn is the status symbol within the Chinese culture. There have been many failed attempts by conservationists and representatives of the South African government to seize the poaching of rhinos. In the 19th century, it was thought that the southern white rhino had become extinct, with less than 100 individuals found in South Africa. After almost 2 decades, the white rhino population has ballooned to around 20,000 and are now classified as near threatened. However, the northern white rhino is believed to eventually become extinct, as there are currently only 5 remaining in the world, 1 male and 4 females. Although they are not out of the woods yet, this is proof that with hard work and determination, the prevention of extinction for these creatures is possible. South Africa is home to approximately 80 to 90% of the worldwide rhino population. Kruger National Park is home to roughly 65% of these rhinos. Unfortunately, Kruger National Park is also home to 60% of the rhinos that have been illegally poached. Statistics state that in the months of January to April 2015, 393 rhinos were poached in South Africa. 290 of these were inside Kruger National Park. That is an 18% increase since 2014. Was originally designed as a wildlife safe haven for threatened species, Kruger National Park is now deemed a poaching hotspot. Conservationists and the South African government are trying new ways to protect white rhinos by relocating them to South Texas, as announced by Group Elephant and the Exotic Wildlife Alliance on the 5th of May 2015. This act aims to relocate 6% of the white rhinos to an existing rhino sanctuary which has had successful breeding programs in the past. The Sumatran rhino is also classified as critically endangered, with less than 100 left in the wild. Also known as the hairy rhino, this mostly solitary mammal is found in Indonesian and Malaysian tropical and subtropical forests, feeding on the plant life. Poaching of this two-horned rhino is the primary reason for their low numbers, as well as loss of habitat for agricultural development and predators such as tigers. Unlike the other species of rhino, it is poached for its horns. The rhino horn has been harvested in Southeast Asia for over 2,000 years, being used for medical treatment for pain or fever, although it hasn't been proven to work. Conservation efforts to protect the Sumatran rhino and their habitat were established in 1984 in the form of the Sumatran Rhino Sanctuary in Waikambas National Park and Rhino Protection Units. The sanctuary hosts a captive breeding program with the aim of reintroduction to the wild and provides education about the endangered species with approximately 247 acres of fenced rhino habitat and 14 employees. Currently, there are 25 to 35 Sumatran rhinos in Waikambas National Park and 5 in the Sumatran Rhino Sanctuary itself. The RPU involves teams of 4 rangers patrolling the forest to apprehend poachers and destroy traps. To make it more difficult for population recovery, the male Sumatran rhino doesn't reach sexual maturity until 7 years of age, and the female 4 years of age. The gestation period is then 15 to 16 months, and they only have a single calf every 4 to 5 years. With the increasing demand of rhino horns on the black market, this results in more rhinos being poached than rhinos reproducing, therefore populations are not increasing. The monitoring of rhino populations is an important conservation strategy as it allows for population estimates, mortality rates, behaviours, any evidence of poaching, and the rate of success of the protection efforts to be documented. New technologies such as tracking devices are used for monitoring rhinos as well as seasonally patrolling ranges and security in protected areas. All information collected by rhino protection units is recorded on special data sheets. National parks have proven to be hugely effective in the conservation of most rhino species. The Sumatran, Greater One-Horn, and Javan rhino species have shown to strive within national parks, with the last remaining Javan rhinos found only within the boundaries of the Ujung Kulon National Park. Unfortunately, this is not the same story for that of the white and black rhinos, with statistics showing that poaching of these species was more common within the boundaries of national parks than outside of these parks. Though these parks have proven to play a positive role in the conservation of most rhino species, the security within these national parks needs to be increased immensely, with rangers being situated around the clock rather than on a seasonal basis. These efforts aim for the stabilisation and recovery of rhino populations and protection of the ecosystems.